my name is John O'Hersey and welcome to another episode of Taste Then Drink. Now, it's been a long day in the warehouse and I'm just sitting down to just do a little bit of trip planning. So in a week's time I head off to France and we've got a tour group from our client list. They're coming across for either a 12 or 7 day tour with me. So I just thought I'd run through what an average sort of wine buying trip looks like. Now, I'll fly into Charles de Gaulle. I like to land in the morning. I really do not like to land at night. I find you're too excited, it's too hard to get to sleep, and you're just up all night and you're jet lagged for a longer period of time. So I like to fly in. They usually land at about 7:30, walk around Paris, and then at about 3 o'clock, it's time to bar hop. So see what's on the list. All the good wine bars, see if there's any new producers that have popped up since my last visit, and then have a couple of drinks, have a dinner, and by about 8 o'clock I usually can't keep my eyes open, so pop back to the room and have a nice night's sleep, and then the next day we hit the road and we head down to Champagne. So in Champagne I'll just spend 2 or 3 days there, see our producers, not necessarily hunting for more producers, so it's really just pop in, taste, say good day, get a couple of good photos and just sort of see what's happening, check in and see how the harvest has been. Then we'll pop down to Chablis, and this is where it sort of really sort of kicks off for me. This is Chablis. I think too many people miss Chablis. Chablis is absolutely fantastic. Not only is Chablis the most delicious, consumable good on planet Earth, but it also is home of probably the cheapest wine lists in Burgundy. Now, as we all know, the only rule is the exception. But if you want to drink, Ravenot or Clos, like we talked about in the last episode, Bistro de Grand Cru is a great place. But Orphée de Zinc, which is this beautiful restaurant, it used to be Japanese-French fusion. Now it's Swiss-French fusion, and it sort of goes over an offshoot of the Sérène River, and it's just absolutely stunning. It's stunning. An old building, but done up beautifully, relatively sort of old but with modern touches, and it's just absolutely stunning. But the Côte d'Or list, but particularly the Côte de Beaune list, the white Burgundies, are absolutely stonkingly good and really, really well priced. And the food is absolutely magic. So I got sidetracked, started talking about restaurants already, I'm sorry about that. But we visited our producers, and there aren't too many new Chablis producers popping up. It's not like Burgundy where you get glimpses of a new producer, which could be really quite interesting. It's really sort of dominated by the really quite well-known names. So they're not usually someone new to visit. Now, usually 2 days there, which enables 2 nights, which means you can dine at Bistro de Grand Cru or Orphée de Zinc, but also Muffo, which is an offshoot of Soufflot. There's another Muffo and Beaune. That's also really quite good for a visit. Cheap rouleau. Cheap Ravenot, but not usually the biggest offering of it. And also there used to be an Italian sort of pizza shop opposite the pub in Chablis. And I had a 3 cheese pizza then once, and I'll never have another pizza from France ever again, except there's one exception in Pommard, but anyway, that's another story. But when we were walking past last time, actually looked really quite good. The food smelled beautiful. And just have a quick look at the Carte de Vin, the wine list. There was a 2014 Monte de Tonnerre Ravenot for €73, and that's exceptionally cheap, but also just what it should be. For instance, Orphée de Zinc, I think that their Monte de Tonnerre for current vintage is about sort of 180 or something like that, which is just too much considering it's down the road. Then from Chablis, then we'll head down to the Côte d'Or. One sec, let me have a little sip. And I usually like to base myself out of one place. When I first started travelling there, I liked to divide my time up between the villages and just sort of get to know the place a little bit better. But since I've been there a little bit more now, I'd just like to stay at the Hungry Cyclist in Alsace-Jurès, or if time's full, which he really often is, I stay at Pommard or Meursault. They're my picks. I love, Volnay and Celle-Vonnaisienne, but the streets and just it doesn't have the same sort of feel as Pommard or Meursault. Meursault's my pick, and Alsace-Jurès. But also, I should say that as well, is Saint-Romain is absolutely stunning. There's an Airbnb that's actually owned by Francois Frere, which is, I think, just it's not as good as Tom's Place, but it's absolutely stunning. And the 2 outdoor dining areas are awesome, and it's really, really well priced. It's just a little bit far away from everything. There's a beautiful restaurant in Saint-Romain, but one's not enough. And then you've got to, get taxis in and out. Anyway, that doesn't matter. So we base ourselves out of there. We break it up 1 day in the Côte de Nuit, 1 day in the Côte de Beaune, 1 day in the Côte de Nuit, and that way we can do a little restaurant, for lunch up in the Côte de Nuit, because we're not up there for dinner at all, really. But the bulk of the best restaurants really are sort of centred around Meursault and Beaune. So usually about 5 days tasting, and about last trip we did sort of 3 or 4 tastings in a day, but try and limit it to sort of 3. And there's a couple of days where we just do 2 tastings and go for a ride around and sort of just see the town. Then those that have been doing the 7 days will usually do Bon Voyage, and the 12 days we'll head to Roanne and via Puy-Fusset or Beaujolais. And then we'll finish it in Roanne at Trois Gros. And Trois Gros, longest standing 3 Michelin star restaurant in the world. And anyone that's watched the Netflix series Chef's Table France will know the story. However, this is their new. Just at the end of that episode, you can see that they've bought this beautiful property and that they're renovating it, and it is absolutely stunning. And although it's an extremely expensive restaurant, the wine itself, for what it is remarkably cheap. So they get a bigger allocation of Coast Jury than most countries. I remember the guy saying it was 3 or 5 pallets of Coast Jury. We had a 2014 Coast Jury Meursault Premier Cru Le Perrier. 2014, I think was, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think it was around €1,000, maybe €1,200, which is just remarkable. Honestly, probably one of the best white wines I've ever had. But we also had Montjob Muneret 2010. I think it was the Chambol Musigny Premier Cru Fusion. I think that's right. But that was a few €100. But really, where the value is because they've been collecting wine for so long. They've been a 3 Michelin star restaurant since, 1956 or something ridiculous like that. They've got this incredible backlog of beautiful, aged Burgundy. So we get a 1988 Bouchard, Bouchard, but in captions down the bottom, Ligier Belair La Romani for what was it? Sub €1,000, and that's the current release La Romani is what, 15 to 17,000 Australian dollars. So that in itself just paid for dinner. So and then we drive into Lyon. We usually have a couple of martinis or something after dinner, a bit of a, we're done. Drive into Lyon and part ways with everyone, and then I go straight to somewhere where I can have a big bowl of an Asian broth. Anyway, that's what